Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Netflix. Watch thousands of TV episodes and movies streamed to your PC, Mac, or TV instantly. Plus, get DVDs by mail in about one business day. For your free 30-day trial, go to netflix.com/twit. And by Trim Tonic, a natural appetite suppressant tonic that takes the edge off of being hungry. Visit trimtonic.com, that's TRIMTONIQ.com for more information and enter coupon code TWIT for a 20% discount.
Android.
Happy Friday the 13th. Today is Friday, May 13th, and welcome to another edition about All About Android, your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Eileen Rivera.
I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Ron Richards.
You
Yeah.
sounded so ominous. Like,
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you know, I tweeted earlier. I said, too bad we don't have a hockey mask for you for
Or-
Friday the 13th.
Nice.
I'm scared. Are you guys
Bone-chilling, no?
superstitious at all? Are you superstitious when it comes to Friday the 13th?
No,
No?
not really.
Ron?
13's my lucky number.
Oh,
so.
it is?
Yeah,
All
totally.
right.
13
that
was
was
my
my-
lucky number when I was a kid, actually.
Yeah, that was my number
Oh,
in
really?
soccer. That
Yep.
was my number
Wow,
in
you
Little
guys are
League. Yeah,
tough.
totally, yeah.
Hey.
You guys are tough. Hey,
I
this
embrace
week... Hey, this week we're going to be talking about Google I.O., Google I.O., and Google I.O. I'm wearing the Google I.O. t-shirt, everybody.
Oh.
This is the t-shirt that we got.
You went there. You're wearing the shirt of the
know.
band you're seeing.
I did. See that?
They totally got you, didn't they? They got you hook, line, and sinker. Like,
Yeah,
this is like,
it was...
by following you on Twitter, it seemed like this was the best conference of your life. Like, I was
I
just like,
drank
wow,
the
Eileen's having
Kool-Aid.
the best time.
I totally drank the Kool-Aid. I will
You
admit
did.
it. I was just having a blast. You know, they made it feel like you were at Google, you know, the Googleplex where they have candy and food everywhere, and they had plenty of drinks and water and all that stuff. I don't know.
I had a really great time at Google I/O as well, and people are definitely very passionate. Obviously, the people that are there are really charged up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't. There was just this part of me that was like, yeah, this is what people complain about on the Apple side too, where they're the quote unquote Apple fanboy, and are we being Google fanboys because we're here and absolutely charged up? And so it was like, on one hand, I was like, yeah, this is really cool, and on the other hand, I was trying to temper myself a little bit,
Well,
just
well, and
not
Jason,
let
I
myself
think
go
I was like,
overboard.
whatever.
and reading from home, I mean, I wasn't at Google I/O. I wasn't one of the chosen few who got to go. But so reading along at home, Jason, I thought you stayed fairly even keeled. You reported what was going on. You were a little critical, but you were also celebratory. While Eileen over there, like, I fully expected you to be like full on red, blue, yellow, green face paint and just like the chrome, like.
I was more emotional. Although I got myself in a little bit of trouble. I baited some Apple fanboys because I talked about the Samsung 10.1 connector, which looks very much like
an Apple
the
connector.
Apple connector.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that on Twitter, and then I got retweeted by Gruber, and boy, I started a at-reply storm between Apple and Google fans, or just hardware fans. And so I didn't really mean to do that, but I just said something like, haha, no wonder why Apple is suing Samsung. And it was a joke, really, but it is, I mean, it looks the same. But anyways.
Wait,
It is
did
very
people take
similar.
something too seriously on Twitter? Like, did people not get the joke on Twitter? That's
No,
just
I mean, I
shocking.
think people didn't. I mean, because once you get retweeted by somebody who has a ton
Yeah.
of followers, and then they don't really know who you are, they don't get you. But there was a lot of people. Yeah, there was a lot of people who got the joke too, but it was just funny. I whatever. I mean, it was just an observation.
Right.
That's all.
It was a good observation, I thought. It was valid. Totally
Thank
valid.
you.
Totally.
It was
valid.
valid.
Yeah, most people would see that connector, and if they've ever had an iPod or an iPhone, would automatically
whoa.
see the similarity.
Well, and
but they don't fit. They're
They don't
reversed,
fit.
so they actually
Exactly.
don't fit into the port. It's a different type.
Considering how this device, which we got, and we'll talk about a little bit,
Definitely talk about it.
is lighter, feels like an iPad, looks like an iPad, then has a connector that's kind of like an iPad. I'm just, making the observation. That's all. All right. Before we move on, I did want to address one email
One burning issue.
from Cindy.
Email at the top.
She says, Eileen, Ron, and Jason, Are the 3 droids in your album art representative of yourselves? If so, which bot is who? I'm guessing the one on the right is Eileen, since it looks like a girl's hairstyle.
Oh, interesting.
Well, okay,
Awkward.
it's not, Cindy. I'm in the middle, and I have no idea why I kept myself green. I just noticed, look at the skin there.
Yeah, you're right.
You were really just charged up about Android, and you were like, you know what? Android is green. I'm going green. You went there.
Like
you went where Ron and I just didn't dare go.
Yeah.
So Ron is on the right, and Jason's on the left.
Ron has a parrot on his shoulder. Why a parrot, Ron?
I do have a parrot because I'm that guy who walks around San Francisco with a parrot on his shoulder. Okay. No, I'm not. I'm totally not. I'm just like, hey, a parrot.
It's like, no, there was a documentary about you, wasn't there, or something?
Oh, yeah, no, not so much. I'm a little more concerned about the hair comment because I was trying to get like the sideburns and I was trying to get the little, the kind of the tuft of hair up there.
Yeah, you got a little wisp going on there. Yeah.
So.
And I have a ray gun. That's how you know it's me.
And you usually wear stripes too, except for today.
At mine, I've got a gray hoodie, which I wear a gray hoodie. Like,
totally.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, I don't know why I picked stripes.
Well, that's the burning question that I thought we really needed to answer. I'd like to change my color, but maybe not. One more thing. Today we're also in the arena. It's going to be all about games. Games. My game's going to win. You'll see why. All right, time for the news. Like we mentioned, it's all about Google I/O.
Pretty much.
Tons of announcements, and we're just kind of going to go over them one at a time. If you followed along with the keynote, which is available on YouTube, you know about all of this already. But in case you didn't, we're talking about Honeycomb 3.1, resizable widgets, which was really cool when they showed that off with Gmail, improved Wi-Fi performance, expanded recent apps list, updated browser, included added support for embedded HTML5 video, updated gallery contacts, calendar, email apps, improved enterprise support. Verizon 3G Zoom customers are the first to get that update, and then when the Galaxy 10.1 ships, it'll get that as well. So possibly before. They haven't really set a firm date on that, but they did said within the next couple of weeks. So we don't have it on ours.
We don't have it yet, which is a little interesting to get a device handed out. But I mean, it also doesn't have NFC in it, and NFC was a big deal at I/O as well. So you can't have everything, folks.
But I mean, it's good to see that they're updating it quickly after the release. I mean, it shows. I wonder if they do. I wonder if they roll this out because Google I/O was coming out. And they're like, oh, we need to do something, or because it's not a major update.
It almost always seems like, oh, we need to do something. So they do something, whether or not it's for everyone or not. But anyways,
all right. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I thought the USB stuff was interesting there in terms of you can hook a digital camera up directly to the device now, which is cool.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we're going to talk about more of that in a second. Within 3.1, we have movie rentals as well, which if you go to, what is it? It's market.android.com/movies. You will be able to use the Android market to rent movies. And I mean, it's kind of your typical standard fare there, $3.99 rentals for a lot of these titles. Does it get any cheaper than that for?
They probably not. I haven't seen it. What, $2.99?
Fast and Furious. So they do have a little bit of a range of the prices, but you can buy that through the marketplace. And I think 3.1. So you can get this through the market right now, and then 3.1 is going to include those movie rentals into your device as well.
And that's just super smart of them just, leveraging these great devices and offering something that's really not that hard to implement.
They really have to catch up to the capabilities of something like an iPad and what you can do using the iTunes.
It's just about time. And, pretty soon, hopefully you'll be able to purchase movies. The rentals is very similar to the iTunes store where you rent it, then you have 30 days. Once you start watching it, you have, 24 or 48 hours to watch it. Very
you can
similar.
cache it locally. Yes. So if you're about to get on a plane, you could rent it, store it onto your device, and then the second you start playing it, you have 24 hours. That's starting, let's see here. I think movie rentals will be on Froyo as well eventually. The capability should be rolled out in the next couple of weeks.
I mean, personally, I didn't expect that at all. Like, I thought that announcement was kind of like a bonus. Like, oh, look at that, they're stepping up to the media. They're challenging iTunes, but it's great to see them being that aggressive, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
All But the one area of the announcements at Google I/O that I was so pissed that I wasn't there for, and I was tweeting to Jason while he was there, while he's giving me the results, was the Google TV updates. Which this is the big thing. I was curious whether, I was really worried that Google TV was going to fall into the Apple TV kind of hobbyist device kind of realm. But it sounds like Google is still dedicated to the platform, and it does run Android, so it is valid here to talk about here. So Google TV is going to be getting 3.1. It's going to be getting Honeycomb, including a brand new interface. Which to me, I have a Google TV at home right now. I feel like the device I have was like the beta version.
Oh,
and
yeah.
After seeing these screenshots, it's like, okay, now they've done it right. Now they've got it.
Yeah, they've actually put some more thought into
exactly
to the usability.
With the left side panel nav.
Yeah.
And it just looks like a computer screen.
What cracked me up is that when you would go into like the settings, you'd get that little rectangle that was like straight like a phone orientation.
Yeah.
And it was like so clear that they just ported Android and had it working on the TV and they just got it out the door. Now it's good to see the interface be thought a little more and the UI being a little nicer. And we can see here, like it's a little more TV-esque instead of just Android on a TV. So that's going to be an over-the-air update for the existing devices, and new devices are going to be rolling out from Logitech, Samsung, Sony, and Vizio this summer. So be on the lookout. If you don't have a Google TV yet, you're thinking about it on the fence, these new devices, the new software might be an opportunity to jump on board. But what's got me super excited is that Google TV is going to get the Android Marketplace, which is super cool. Yeah,
What kind of apps do you think we're really going to purchase though from Google TV? What do
MLB
you
app.
mean?
MLB app first purchase right out of the gate.
You're talking like entertainment apps, really?
Oh yeah. I think you're gonna see. Well, I think it's gonna start off entertainment apps. You're gonna see like in that screenshot we saw there was Flickster and like TNT and stuff like that. But they already have the Twitter app, which they're offering there. So what you're gonna see is you're gonna see more entertainment-based apps, but then you're gonna see apps that are bridging the gap between TV and the computer. And I think things like Twitter, you'll probably see Facebook, you'll probably see some sort of Amazon thing. I wouldn't be surprised.
There is Frogger on there, so it looks like there's going to be some games.
Yeah, there will definitely be games as well.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it this way, because we went to the market discussion as well as the Google TV discussion, and it really seemed like at the Google TV discussion they were talking all about, as developers, you guys should really think of this as yet another extension for your app that you already have. And then in the market, they're talking about making your apps available on as many devices as possible.
Exactly.
So really, you take a large percentage of the apps that already exist in the market, and those developers can now start thinking, all right, well, how do I make this valuable on what do they call it, the 10-foot experience or whatever?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. How do you make this valuable? And some of them are probably going to fall flat on their face and be like, why would I want to do that sitting on a couch looking at my TV? But I don't know. I'm really curious to see how they kind of extend it out and create things that we aren't thinking about right now, reasons why we might want to use these apps.
We've been talking for 20 years about convergence, and the computer and the TV will merge into one. And I really think this is probably the most aggressive step by any of the technology companies to do that. Yeah. I mean, you get an email client on there, you're sitting on the couch, you get a ping, you get an email, you pause the game, you pull up that email, you quickly dash off a reply, go back to watching it, you never get off the couch. That's pretty cool. So, and because we're all lazy and couch potatoes, but still.
Yeah, I know I'm lazy.
Yeah.
I'm very lazy. I was questioning whether or not Google TV was dead, and I'm not convinced yet. So we'll see if this resuscitates it, if people, gravitate to it, if the apps are usable, that kind of thing.
Well, and also this, you think about it this way: when Android came out, it took a long time for apps to be developed for it. It took a long time for the experience to be kind of hashed out in a way that people craved it, other than the early adopters. Now you have tablets coming out with Android, and we're kind of in that weird little region where you see the potential, and there's a few apps out there, but like you were complaining about earlier, and you probably will talk about eventually. I mean, it's hard to think that the Android tablet matches the iPad right now, point for point. And Google TV is just yet another extension of that. I have to imagine that in a couple of years they will have learned a lot of lessons. And I mean, the Apple TV is kind of competing to a certain degree in that realm. So they certainly have reasons to continue the fight.
Exactly.
But if you take that comparison even further, and not to get always Apple, Google, like we always seem to end up in comparing Apple and Google. And I don't want, I want to be conscious of that, because I don't want the audience to be like, oh, you're always hating on Apple.
Yeah.
But if you give me an Apple TV or a Google TV, I think the Google TV is the more powerful device right now. They really,
because
the
of
latest
its
version.
search capabilities.
Because of the search, because of just the interaction, the interface, the keyboard ability, whether you're using the remote or the app that I showed on show a couple weeks ago. Apple TV, they really dumbed it down with the latest version, if you ask me. They really made it, like more like a Roku box, which is not very, just a couple of buttons, and it's not very expansive in terms of its functionality. So I don't know. I see a lot of potential with the Google TV. I hope it doesn't die. So.
Which, by the way, the API for the remote has been released. So
that's right. It's been open source.
I know you love your Google TV remote, Ron, but there might be better ones coming into the App Store from the developers. So
I'll gladly check them all out. I will try them all. I'll be the remote guy. Yeah.
Okay, well, moving on. Ice cream sandwich was talked about at the keynote. I think it's also, let's note that we're talking about the keynote from the very first day. We might talk a little bit about Chrome, but really for our show, we're really more concerned about the first day's keynote. So ice cream sandwich is the next OS, and it's meant to bridge the gap between all devices. It's work designed to help reduce fragmentation, big capital F. All of Honeycomb UI features will be in that holographic UI, app launcher, multitasking, rich widgets, etc. And they're also going to expand NFC. And we have a little bit of video from a session we weren't actually in that kind of shows this expansion of NFC, right, Jason?
Yeah. So basically, what they're working on for Ice Cream Sandwich is one of the features is called zero-click sharing, and essentially what it is, it's bump technology, for lack of a better word, using NFC. So you're on your phone, you're watching a video, you bump, another NFC-enabled device, and it automatically picks up playing from where you left off on that device. Or you have a piece of media, like a file or a video or something that you want to share with someone. You bump the devices, and through the magic of near-field communication, it transfers that file from one to the other. So, and that's going to be embedded into the OS, specifically that feature, not requiring an app, which in my opinion is always kind of the downside of that kind of stuff. Like I remember when I first got my Android, there was some app, and I can't remember the name, maybe it was Bump, but it's claimed to do just that thing. I was like, wow, that's a really cool idea. Well, you have to have everybody having that app then for that to be really useful. I mean, you don't just run into someone and expect that they have that particular app installed. So if it's built into the OS, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Ice Cream Sandwich is supposedly going to release in the fourth quarter of this year. And Andy Rubin was in a press conference, not at the keynote, later that day. And there was some rumors that he kind of slipped that there will be another Nexus device also at the end of the year.
I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. I would, given the history of the Nexus 1 and then the Nexus S, that seems about right at the end of this year. So.
All right, so the next thing that we want to talk about, which is really exciting, is Android Music, which was Music Beta by Google, I guess would be the actual name, and they launched this and teased it out at the keynote. Anybody who was attending I/O was invited to get into the beta immediately, and the app is available now. There's a new Music Beta app, and it's funny how I totally missed this aspect of it. I was like, oh, I guess they're not rolling it out to our phones because you never had to download a music app for your phone before. It's kind of the same thing that they did, I think, with Gmail months and months ago, where they wanted to be able to iterate and revise Gmail rapidly. And so they ended up creating an app that you could download and it gets updated instead of it being updated with your OS. Well, they've done the same thing for music. So if you go to the Android Music Store or Android Market, you can download a new version of the music app, and it has a lot of cool stuff. Oh, and you're showing it right now. Let me cut over to Eileen, who happens to be showing it off. So this is the new music app. It's the app itself. On my phone, it runs a little slow, but I know it's just my phone. It's pretty slick. I really like it a lot. I think the UI changes that they made and the playlist management and all the work that they put into it is great. It looks nice, and I'm happy to use this until I find something that I don't like about it. But I think even bigger than that is the added functionality of uploading your music to the cloud. And I think they said that they're starting with 20,000. What is it? 20,000 songs?
Is the limit, yeah.
20,000 songs. Okay, think about that. 20,000 songs. That's a ridiculous amount of music.
That's a lot. I'm pulling up my iTunes right now to see how many songs I have.
I heard that number, and initially I was like, oh, I've totally got more than that. I think I've got like 6,500 songs. I don't know how that happened.
It's funny because a couple of like a month ago or whatever, when Amazon launched their service, and I was one of the people who freaked out over the storage size restriction, where Amazon went by megabytes and where Google's going by songs. According according to my iTunes, I have 14,000 songs. So I would even be able to fit into here. Yeah.
You got a library on you, sir.
I do. So that now you see why I was complaining about Amazon, because it's like I have 77 gig worth of music. This is on my laptop and my external hard drive. I don't even know what's on my desktop. But so I mean, so right now looking at Google versus Amazon, I'm going to go Google Music if I get into the beta.
Yeah, so
because I quickly updated the app and then I was like, oh, and it didn't look any different. And then I went to the website. I'm like, I have to sign up. I was so disappointed.
Well, the beta is great for a start. One of the things that they touted was pinning your music. So you have a song, and then you could possibly play it offline, just like you could do with sites like RDO, because essentially this is all in the cloud. So if you don't have a connection, you can't get to it. Right now, I don't really see any of my songs being able to be pinned. This is their term that they're using, pinning.
Chrome, you can pin a web page to the desktop, that sort of thing. So
yeah, I think I'm guessing they're eventually going to roll that out. I don't know if there's an issue with that. I'm just noticing that you can't when you sign up for the beta. At least when we signed up for the beta, you have options to get some free songs. Google offered a bunch of free songs in various categories. You could check the categories that you want.
So
all of those songs that they give out, you can actually pin to your device currently. But the songs that I uploaded like 4,500 songs. None of them are capable of pinning right now, and I don't know. You were asking me, Jason, is all your music still uploading? I think I'm done. Yeah, and it only took like half a day. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe that's a bug on my end or whatever, but I don't see any pinning available yet.
I'm trying to pin myself, and it's not working.
Yeah,
as well.
I'm pretty sure it's only for
the option for it.
I don't know if that's a label thing. I mean, they're basically doing this without any licensing from any of the labels. They're going a la Amazon, just going for it because their deals broke down. So
I'm glad they are. That shows that because the thing is, it's great to get those deals, but they don't need to. Like you can do this solution, you can do this uploading, and I believe they're doing file size matching or like audio analysis when you upload it. And which is really, I mean, Google's going to be smart with their approach to it. So I can't wait to get into this beta because I'll totally embrace it. So.
What do you mean? I haven't heard about that. So you upload music and it analyzes it and matches.
It's analyzing the file
something
size to confirm that it's the song that you're saying you uploaded.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Now, what happens if you take quite often that's a problem with like live versions or things like that, because song matching and things like that become complex. But what that's important is that a lot of people might be uploading stuff and naming it differently, trying to game it or whatever, and they're doing some level of checking. Whether the labels make them need to or not, that's another story. But it's interesting that there's more technology going on than a simple just an upload.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute! I just pinned something.
Oh,
wait a minute! I just pinned Adele.
Now, is Adele something that you had in your library?
Yes, this is something I had in my library. It's funny, I had to go into albums to do that. I don't think I can do it individually with songs. Maybe that was the issue.
Oh, interesting.
Weird.
So you can only pin albums, not songs.
Can you pin a playlist? Can you make a playlist and pin it?
Let me see. Playlist. Yes, I can pin a playlist.
Awesome.
I see the little pins on the
You
side.
see that there?
Yeah.
Oh, see if I can do this better.
Cool.
So I guess what I was trying. Oops. I guess what I was trying to do was pin individual songs, and that wasn't happening.
Well, that's strange that you can't do that yet. I have to imagine that's an oversight.
Well, why would you want to pin an individual song? I mean, imagine an album or a playlist makes more sense.
Because I only have, if you see, I only
just
have.
Because your library is so small, doesn't mean
I only have 7 gigs free.
Right.
So I want to be selective. It tells me, which is really cool, that you only have 7 gigs free on your phone. So
that's cool. Okay.
I don't want.
We figured something out then.
Yeah.
Along those lines. It just sounded weird that they wouldn't allow you to do it with your own music. Because then conceivably, the people that weren't let in early and didn't get free music from Google couldn't pin anything because it's all uploaded from them. So that's
I guess you just have to do it. Oh, look, you could do it by artist. So you could do it by artist, by albums, by playlist. Can you do it by genre? No. Not by genre or song.
Take an entire indie genre, and pin it to your device.
Okay,
I don't know why
cool.
you shouldn't be able to do that though.
Yeah. Well, we'll probably add it later.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
But anyway, so the app is you can download the app even if you aren't in on the cloud, the Music Beta cloud service. And then let's see here, where is that? That's music.google.com/music. I don't know why the /music is necessary, but it seems to be necessary. And there's a link there to get the Android app and to subscribe for the beta. What the cost will be, because it's free right now to do all this, what the cost will be is anybody's guess. I have to imagine with 20,000 songs at an upward limit, like it's got to be, staged or stepped with the amount of music that you store there. And I don't know, it's got to be cheap for people to stick with it after using it for free for so long. But it's very compelling, I think. It's compelling for me in the sense that I don't have to pick and choose. I can just go, here, have all of my music. That's cool.
Did they say when they're going to start opening up people to the beta? Just curious.
I don't know. I don't remember.
It was one of those elusive, like in the coming weeks things. So
they're working on it.
Yeah,
that's something I heard a lot. They're working on it.
Yeah, totally. All right, let's move on from.
All right, so another neat little thing, just real quickly to mention, is that they also announced Android at Home, which is somewhat interesting and caused us to kind of scratch our heads a little bit. Mm-hmm. But basically, it looks like they're going after the whole XE kind of home automation marketplace, using Android through a framework to control wireless communication between the objects in your house. So you can have your Motorola Zoom tablet control the lighting in your house, or control any other sort of electronic devices that are hooked up to other wireless controllers. So it's pretty interesting. And they also, based on that, they demoed a home theater setup called Project Tungsten, which is a nice little technology name there. But basically, it's a whole home theater speaker system that's all controlled via Android and using a tablet as the main kind of control base. And just showing that the Android isn't just a phone operating system. It can be, phone, tablet, TV, home automation. It's really a new operating system to operate any wireless communication.
Yeah, so, they controlled lights in the keynote room. It's not called a keynote room, whatever, where we were at. They controlled all the lights. And they also used the Project Tungsten. One of their demonstrations was to take a CD case that was NFC enabled, flash it in front of Project Tungsten, and it automatically recognized what the CD was and started playing it. Although it started playing it like in the middle of the song.
Yeah, I was like, what if you wanted to pick a song? You didn't want that song to come up. Ding.
Obviously, it was a proof of concept.
Yes.
But I think it's interesting, and I would imagine most people didn't expect that they were going to come out in this keynote and say, "Hey, why don't you use your Android device to control everything?"
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Which is awesome. And CYBYL in the chat room, Cybel, whoever, said it reminded him of the 1950s Disney Home of the Future. And that's totally what I was thinking of.
So true.
It's so which is great because we all wanted that Home of the Future. And so, yes, Google, give it to me because Microsoft failed. So, because I went up to Redmond a couple of years ago when I was at an old job, and I went to Microsoft, and they had a whole house built inside their campus that was all controlled via Microsoft. This whole concept, like home automation, and we haven't seen any of those products reach the marketplace yet. So, if Google can do it with Android, awesome, because that home automation is fun. So, dorky fun, but it's fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. The last two initiatives that we're going to highlight, I think, got the largest applause in the keynote. The first being Android Open Accessory.
Well, aside from the free tablet.
Well, aside from the free giveaway that we got. Yeah. So Android Open Accessory, we have a little bit of video here of the bike, right? So basically, what's interesting is that the devs are going to be given the Android Open Accessory Kit. It consists of a software API that allows programmers to interact with the accessory controller, like a piece of demo hardware that allows connections and communications from the software API connecting to or built into the USB accessory device. So, as you can see here, if you're watching in the video, they're connecting the phone to the actual exercise bike. And
that's
then
cool.
You're playing a game while you're riding the bike. I remember this thing crashed. Poor Android guy crashed. And it just recognizes your phone just by the connection. The other thing that everybody was like freaking out about was the Xbox controller.
Yeah, they did a close-up of an Xbox controller controlling a game on the phone. So
yeah, exactly.
That's very cool.
So, again, like Android Home, they want Android in everything, which is I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of thinking out of the box of what you could use it, just on your phone or your tablet or whatever, or even your TV. It's they want it everywhere.
Yeah, all sorts of peripherals, and of course, devs were very excited to get their hands on that kit. And then, sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, it looks great. For me, I thought the thing that got me was the cameras and all like media devices and things like that. Being able to, being able to plug in a device to your tablet and get data off of that device onto the tablet. Oh, that's great.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's, because, again, can't do that with an iPad, so it's like it's extending the Android tablet to be more of a computing device. So
absolutely.
The part where they had the facial recognition or the voice recognition.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
They've got the Zoom and someone's talking in front of the camera, and then as soon as the next person starts talking, it automatically moves the camera to visualize that person that's talking. I just thought, movements like that was pretty
and it also had some facial recognition where a guy stood in front of it, and it actually determined where his mouth was, and did like visual distortion. Like making it really big or making it really small, making his eyes really small, those goofy little camera tricks or whatever. But it was interesting in the sense that it was recognizing where that was on him and following him around as he kind of moved around. And I mean, those demonstrations were a little glitchy, like you saw little jumps and everything, but they were a really good indication of what you could do if you wanted to take the time and energy to do that. Another thing that I was really excited about was this their talk about anti-fragmentation, creating an alliance. And Electronista put it well. They said a formal group to establish guidelines for both how quickly Android devices would get updated after new releases, as well as guaranteed time frame during which they would get updates. Members of the program would be promising to keep upgrading devices for at least 18 months after they're released, if the hardware allows. If the hardware allows, which is kind of the sticky part, I guess. HTC, LG, Motorola, Samsung, Sony Ericsson, as well as the major U.S. wireless providers are all on board at this time. So that's kind of exciting. They kind of came out and I mean, they didn't really give you a whole lot here. They just said, we're going to do something about it. And we've got these people agreeing, these companies agreeing to work with us on it. But at least they're kind of stepping out in front of it and saying, all right, this is a big deal. This is something that we have to take care of.
It is a problem. Yeah. So, thank goodness. Okay. Those were all the sort of the big announcement in the Android keynote. And then, I don't know, I guess it's time for hardware because then we get to our big Oprah moment.
That's right. All right.
5,000 people got these. Special edition 10.1 Galaxy Tab, right, Jason?
That's right. Here,
with the little Android guys in the back, right? The limited edition.
Yeah. You can probably see it, Jason. You can probably show it.
Pull up. Too bright.
Camera here.
If you flip it over, if we see the.
The Android
guys.
Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1. I guess they do this at all Google I/O, but they have this little graphic on the back of little androids marching along, and in the real version, it's just going to be plain white. But yeah, so I mean, my first impression, because I've never owned a tablet, is yay. I mean, it's a nice tablet. My complaint with the Zoom when I had it was that it was really heavy, and this thing is absolutely not heavy. I mean, it's pretty light. It's super thin. It doesn't really feel like delicate to me. No. I mean, I'm very careful with it, but it doesn't feel like I could snap it in half if I accidentally bent it the wrong way. Super slick. I mean, I'm just kind of, like I've said after my time with the Zoom, I'm still trying to find when I choose to use it. Like, what are the reasons that I pull this out instead of going to my phone or my laptop or whatever?
I think, well, for me, I don't know about you, Ron, but tablet-wise, I always use it as entertainment device. Media, reading, quick browsing. But, I mean, this 10.1 size, it's so optimized for 16.9 videos. I cannot wait to actually watch movies on this thing.
Yeah.
HD movies on this.
Yeah, for me, the tablets have been mainly travel, but it's interesting because I've been experimenting over the past couple of weeks. I've been traveling a lot, so I've been taking the tablets on the plane and trying to take that out as opposed to my laptop, and it's been great. It's been seamless, whether reading, through the Kindle app or watching video or anything like that. But then I started bringing the Zoom. I was in New York last week. I brought the Zoom on meetings instead of my laptop.
Oh.
And I was doing day-to-day work stuff, and I had screenshots of stuff we were doing. And I just showed it to them on my tablet, and it was so much easier to do. And then about 2 weeks ago, I was at a press conference in San Francisco for an MMO launch that was announced in San Francisco, and I was live blogging the event from the Zoom. So
wow.
it worked in the field. I mean, there was Wi-Fi at the restaurant, so that was that. It's not like I needed to worry about the connection or anything like that. But I was able to go to my site, go to my content management system, be live updating the event and publish it, and it was it worked in the field test. So so that was kind of neat. So it's while yes, it starts like my instinct is an entertainment device, I'm trying to adapt it into a productivity device, and it's working pretty well. So
wow.
I'm realizing that I would probably use it more as productivity than I would as entertainment.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. My initial instinct was, oh, cool, I use this during TNT prep, and I quickly realized that, yeah, Google Docs on a tablet just still isn't there. They really need to figure that out. It's such a pain in the butt. But I mean, games are actually really cool on this. I might actually play more games now as a result of it. It's a lot of fun just having the touch interface and actually downloading games that I've played on a regular phone. On my Droid, and then bringing it into here and seeing how it plays and just being like, wow, okay, this blows it away. Like,
absolutely,
it's so much nicer.
Yeah. So this is, you were telling me, Jason, it is lighter than the iPad. And I was holding both, iPad 2, I should say, and I was holding both, and I thought it was maybe a tiny bit heavier, but you're saying
1.24 pounds compared to iPad 2's 1.32. So very, very minimal difference there, but it is. And it's a 1280 by 800 screen compared to iPad 2's 1024 by 768. It's a dual-core 1 gigahertz Tegra 2 processor.
And there's a front and back camera. I assume that eventually we'd be able to do Skype, on this. Eventually, I don't think it works yet. There's a lot of cameras, apps that aren't really optimized and don't work well yet with this device, but I'm just assuming that that's just an upgrade away. Yeah. And the other thing, the stock browser was quite buggy. I had to download Opera because it just wasn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't.
I haven't had any problems with this stock browser.
It wasn't scrolling for me. It was kind of weird, and I knew somebody else who was having the same issue as well. Overall, this is a really nice piece of hardware. We just need the software. We really just need the apps. We need the software. It's coming. Obviously the developers have this in their hands now. So I don't know. Come Q4, man, there should be some rocking stuff on this thing. I'm really excited.
It all takes time. Of course, you compare this to the iPad 2, or I guess the iPad 2 is kind of the front runner right now. And there are things that you can do on the iPad 2 that you can't on here, just merely because there isn't as much software. Apps created for. There isn't as much developer backing for this tablet yet, but there wasn't when Android first launched. And now look at it; it's about to surpass Apple, for a total number of apps in the App Store. So,
I was shocked at how thin and light it was. I got to play. I met up with somebody after Google I/O on Tuesday and got to play with it. And compared to the Zoom, I was like, "This is amazing! It is so light." So that's definitely a competitive factor when looking at the iPad 2.
Yeah, and I should also quickly mention for our rooting folks out there, Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1 already rooted. Using very easy root instructions. I have not done it yet. I'm probably going to do it. I mean, I'm very used to having certain apps on my phone, so why not?
Go, Jason. Go, Jason. Go, Jason.
So anyways, so that's the Galaxy Tab 10.1. Let's move along.
Okay, well, also at Google I/O, we got to play with a lot of hardware, which is really cool because we've only read about that. And I think that's sort of like the next plan in our initiative of the show is to really get hands-on with a lot of these devices so that we can actually finally review them. We took a moment to kind of stop by Sony Ericsson's and LG's table to take a look at some of the new devices that we've already talked about here. And one of them was the Xperia Play. There it is, playing with it.
Yeah, we both got to kind of play around with the Play a little bit. It was
interesting on that. What did you think, Jason?
Well, I actually didn't use the analog sensor little circles the way that you did.
For me, when I was playing it, I didn't get used to it. But I mean, I barely spent 5 minutes with it.
Right. I will say that the feel of the device was a lot more solid than I expected. I expected to pick the thing up and feel like it was, like I said earlier, going to snap into two. The buttons wouldn't be, solid presses. I mean, you have to expect that it's going to be different than a regular controller because it's much, much thinner. But I liked it actually. I thought I don't know. I thought it was a decent piece of hardware. And, I played a little Crash Bandicoot on it.
Yay! Yeah, I have to say, a lot of the hardware from Sony was pretty solid. So there's the Xperia Play. Should we move on to the Arc?
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a little audio of me talking to Carl from Sony.
Yeah, and here we go.
Okay, tell me about the Arc. We're looking at the Arc right now, and I saw this phone at CES, and I love the design. I think it's really great. And you mentioned 3 things about this camera that you think the users out there or consumers will be really interested in, right?
Yes, I would say the main 3 things for Xperia Arc would be the design, like you mentioned. It is a state-of-the-art design. You have the amazing screen that is running a Bravia engine to enhance the colors and the richness of all the vivid colors and looking at movies, etc. And then you have the camera. The camera is an amazing camera, 8.1 megapixel camera that has a Sony Exmor-R sensor. And the Sony Exmor-R sensor has an aperture of 2.4, meaning that it is really great to take pictures in low light environments. And I think those are the key main features. And of course, that is running Gingerbread as well, the latest Android release.
And when do we know, when is this coming out in the US? Any word?
Actually, it is already out on the Sony Style stores. And then I cannot comment on customer deals, I would say. Unfortunately, I cannot comment on that today.
So you can't comment on the carrier or anything like that? Okay.
I cannot comment on the carrier. Those are still discussions ongoing on how we bring it to the market in the US. But I can say that this was the fastest selling smartphone in Japan in history. It was an amazing number of phones that was sold on the first day.
So that was the Arc, which I thought was a pretty nice phone.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid phone.
One thing I forgot to mention with the Xperia Play, in a breakout session, gaming breakout session, a bunch of the developers actually got a free Xperia Play phone, which lucky them, we didn't go to that session. But
There's
that's
no
okay.
way we would have gone to that one. It was like C++
Yeah.
and game like
you go to some of these sessions,
we really would never have
and
done that.
there's a lot of information in these sessions, and you're like, okay, great, I'm understanding. And then they start breaking out Apache. They start breaking out the developer speak, and for press, at least for me, I'm like, oh boy,
eyes glazed.
They don't really get it. And then one more question that I had. A lot of people are thinking about upgrading their phones, whether or not to go and wait for the dual core versus single core. The thing about the Sony phones, none of them are dual core. All of them have Gingerbread, so they've got the latest operating system. So I asked Carl a little bit about that. So we're here at the Sony booth. I'm playing with the Xperia Play, and Carl is with me. Hi, Carl.
Hi, Eileen.
I guess we should have done that in the other stuff.
I have a lot of questions about dual core, and then our audience has a lot of questions of dual core versus single. And this device is not dual core, yet it's playing amazing games. The quality is great. The speed is great. What is the philosophy over at Sony about dual core?
I would say looking at the hardware performance is one aspect to this, but we need to look at the whole complete package in terms of gaming. In terms of gaming, we have built this phone on the chipset from Qualcomm called 8255 that has a Snapdragon 1 GHz processor and Adreno 205 GPU, along with that DDR2 dual-channel memory bus in order to optimize the hardware performance. So looking at the timeline here, when we wanted to launch this device, we thought this was a complete package that would meet all the standards that the user would need in terms of getting a great gaming experience. And we mentioned it before of how you measure different performance in gaming. And there you have 3 parameters that you would look at. You have the fill rate, you have the triangles per second, and you have the shader performance. And looking at this and the device of Xperia Play, we see that after you hit the roof, when it comes to triangles per second and fill rate, it's actually shader performance that will help the gameplay and the user experience in the best possible way. And we have some really great shader performance in this one, and that the shader performance is also then done in the optimization of the GPU, I would say. So it's not only about the dual core processor, it's very much about the GPU power as well, I would say.
All right. Thank you, Carl. And
we've gotten this point a few times. We also went to the GDGT event and spoke with a representative of Verizon, and that was my question to him, which was just like, these are great. The Thunderbolt is fantastic, but I'm holding out for the dual core. What do you think? It is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is what can you get now do you like what you're getting now? Like if you're playing around with it, does it feel like you're being throttled or slowed down by any means? And if not, then why wait? I don't know if that changes my mind.
No,
I feel like at this point I've waited long enough. Like I might as well just stick it out for a couple of more months.
He's waiting for the Bionic.
Yeah.
Carl, the representative that we did interview, actually talked about how Sony has given us, or given any user the option with their phones to unlock the bootloader, for advanced developers. So he wrote, actually, he's the one who wrote the post about it.
Yeah, he wrote a blog post all about how easy it is to unlock the bootloader. So that's cool. More manufacturers kind of paying attention to that side of how people want to use their devices. That's kind of a cool thing that they're doing there. I
gotta say, I feel for Carl. Eileen, you're a tough interview. It's like you were grilling him there in the first clip.
Oh, was I grilling him?
Yeah, what carrier? When is it going to be available?
we left some stuff on the cutting room floor, too. I didn't want to embarrass the guy, but no.
All right, so I'm going to skip right down to NFC because we are running a little long right now. NFC was just basically, as a whole, a pretty big deal at Google I/O. Actually, Jason Applebaum, who is with hack5.org, we had Darren Kitchen on last week. Jason works with Darren. He was actually there, and he kind of demonstrated when you went to the conference, you got these little NFC stickers in your badges, and they were programmable tags. So essentially, what he just did there is he collected a tag from the NFC card by waving his phone over it, and now he's going to actually program the card to represent whatever data information he wants to associate with it. So I don't know how much these were being used at the conference, and actually towards the end I asked him if any, because he totally went out of his way and like created that QR code and programmed his NFC and put it front and center on his badge so that it would be visible. And I think he said he used it like maybe once or twice, that somebody actually used it.
No one was doing it.
So I don't know what that says about NFC. I mean, really, when you think about NFC as a technology and how available it is or how unavailable it actually is right now, it's really only in the Nexus S, right? Is it? No.
Yeah, I think it's in another device. I think it's not just the Nexus S. I forget.
There's
I gotta
one
check.
more device. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think there's one more device that has it. I just don't think we can wrap our heads around it yet. Like, I don't think we've seen the application of it that's like, yes, that's what it's for. I know the potential for that is there, but I think as a society, we're not quite sure exactly what this means.
Yeah, then how about this? We talked about earlier the ice cream sandwich functionality of bumping media, although now I can't. I just have bump like permanently attached in my brain.
Wow, they win.
I know, right? Well, we went to the Double Twist booth, and they actually showed off their double tap, which is it using NFC?
Yes.
Yes.
And it's available now.
And it's available now. So this would be an app version of what you would do with NFC, essentially tapping two phones together, transferring one song to another song. And that's kind of course, he was not logged into Bluetooth on that second phone. That's what you see there. He has to actually activate Bluetooth. But essentially allowing you to take a song that you have on your device, bump it up to another, and transfer the song over. So there's an application.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are curious. I mean, if you go onto the YouTube site under Google Developers and you look at all of the archived sessions and keynote, obviously the keynotes are big. Even the Jane's Addiction concert was big. But one of the biggest viewed session was How to NFC at 50K views right now. So people are curious. People want to know. Actually, we didn't get to go to that session, so I'm actually going to watch that later on. So
watch it on your holiday.
I will.
On your vacation. All right, let's move this boat along and go to apps. All right, so
I like that beat. That beat's good. I like that. Good groove.
Oh man, who was that? I can't remember. Put on the spot, but that was created by a fan. We thank you immensely for that.
Awesome. I did.
So let's see here. We are moving on to the Android market. Essentially, there have been some changes to the Android market that you can find on the web right now. Just different ways that you can find, things that are up and coming, things that are new. They explained it really well, just in the sense that with the new categories like trending, top new paid, top new free, top grossing, allow you to very finally pinpoint exactly at what point that an app is trending. Is it an all-time winner, or is it in the past 24 hours, and just added to the market what is the best one in that category. So there's all sorts of different ways that you can find apps in the market. And then at this at the market talk, they very briefly flashed a few screenshots that I didn't take pictures of, but I later had to hunt down. But if you want to see the changes coming to your phone, this is kind of what the market is going to look like very soon. They've completely redesigned the look of the market. They put the videos and screenshots up at the top, front and center. They've just kind of cleaned it up and given it a kind of an easier feel, and they kind of demonstrated how you interact with it. But kind of cool stuff because, everybody uses the Android market at least at one point or another on their phone.
It looks like it looks a lot more like the Zoom market.
It kind of does, actually. Yeah, kind of tile-ish.
Yeah.
So anyways, be on the lookout for that.
Cool. But probably the biggest app news that hit this week, not having anything to do with Google I/O, I don't think, was the fact that we finally got a Netflix app. So amazing! Netflix finally launched their Android app for if you have the right phone. I think it supports five different devices. The Nexus S. I'm trying to remember exactly off the top of my head.
The Evo.
The Evo. Pretty much the high end. The ones that are running the latest OS. Here it is.
Actually, the Incredible too, which is
the HTC Incredible.
The
HTC Incredible, the Nexus One, the Evo 4G, the HTC G2, and the Samsung Nexus S. So interesting that the Nexus One it still works. I was surprised by that one. But so really, it's an official Netflix app. You can get access to your queue. You can. When I loaded it up, it had waiting for me on the homepage. The last thing I watched and a call to action to resume watching it.
Yep.
Because I stopped in the middle of a movie and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So you get your homepage where they do a lot of recommendations for you. You can browse by genre. You can do a direct search and then you can get to your instant queue. What I thought was interesting. No mention at all of your DVDs, of your queue, of your snail mail queue, anywhere in the app, which I thought was interesting. So it's totally focused on streaming and just shows what they see as the future of Netflix is the streaming option. So
it looks really good too. I think the streaming, at least on our phones, is pretty decent. Here I'm showing Kick-Ass right now,
which is
big old battle scene, which is new in the instant streaming, so decent quality.
I'm sad. You want to know why? I'm sad because I have the original Motorola Droid. I'm sorry.
Oh,
is that Netflix?
He went there.
Is that Resume? The last thing I watched, which unfortunately was Sons of Anarchy, that I only made it halfway through, and I was like, yeah, I don't like that.
How are you doing this?
Oh wait.
The thing is, it works.
Yeah.
It's really slow, but it works. Doesn't matter once the video starts playing, which it will, and it did for me last night. And
it crashed.
No, it was just a wait.
See, I told you
it's
slow.
Here we go.
Yeah,
here we go.
Waiting for it. Yeah. So while I'm biding time, waiting for my slow phone to catch up with me. Of course. Yeah, well, there we go. Blah, blah. Anyways, you should just know that it does work eventually, and you can find the information at Android Central on how to get it working on a Droid X, Droid 2, and the OG Droid as well. And I bet you anything it's going to start working for me just as soon as I put it down.
Yeah,
it worked for me last night. I watched like a few minutes. So
I mean, everybody who's a Netflix user who's on Android's dream finally came true. A way to access all that content and watch it on the go. It's going to change my traveling plans now forever. Yeah, it's great. So
it'll be awesome when it's finally optimized for the tablet too. Because
that's the first thing I did.
That's the next thing. Yeah,
I installed it on my phone and then I ran to the Zoom and I went and I typed. I'm like, is it there? And it's not. It didn't even come up in the search results.
Yeah, won't.
Wah.
All right. Well, we need to take a break here. So let's thank our sponsors, Trim Tonic at trimtonic.com. Trim Tonic is a natural appetite suppressant tonic that takes the edge off of being hungry. What makes Trim Tonic unique is that it uses no stimulants to get this effect, no caffeine, no hoodia. Instead, it has 8 active ingredients, some of which have clinical studies showing their ability to curb appetite and reduce body fat. The 3 main ingredients are Acron, Visaspera, Hervingia gabonensis seed extracts. You know those. We're all familiar with those, both of which are tropical plants used in India and Africa for curbing appetites. And the third is cocoa leaf extract, a word that I can actually pronounce. Be sure to visit www.braintonic with a Q TWiT.com. For more information, enter coupon code TWiT for a 20% discount, and we thank them for their support.
Yeah, it tastes like punch. It's pretty good. I'm actually hungry right now, so I should go into the kitchen and grab one of those, so I'm not too hungry for dinner.
Don't go right now. You want to know why?
Why?
Because it's time to jump into the arena to enter. One lives. Android Arena. Roar. Okay, so let's see here. First of all, we like to take a look at last week's arena and see how you guys liked what we did. Last week was a little bit more about root, and then Eileen, you showed off a game, which didn't factor into the voting. But the best root app from last week, we talked about set CPU for root users and wireless tether. And Darren's app, wireless tether, actually wins with 70% of the vote, which is kind of unsurprising. I would say
he was pretty confident about that.
Yeah, he really, going in, he didn't take a whole lot of psyching up. No. Meanwhile, I was over there like in the corner, like reciting to myself, like, you can do it, man, you can do it. And he was just like, arms folded, staring at me menacingly. So his app wins. You should really check both of them out if you're a root user, because they're both very handy. But this week, we're going to do games.
We are going to do games. And I guess I'm going first. I want to show you a slide scroller that's about $1.12 in the marketplace called Stellar Escape. And I'm having a lot of fun playing this, and I don't know how I'm going to play this for you on the camera here. But basically, you are Elliot Black, a courier in the beta sector, but after quite an irrational move, you're forced to flee for your life. This will take you through several different areas of the space station until you finally reach the safety of your ship. So I'm going to start playing him right now. Here he goes. I've been playing. Oh, I got to get underneath there. Jumping in. Jump. Oh, crap. Cool. It's hard to play this way.
Wow. Yeah. I bet it is off to the side like that. And it has the on-screen controls for the touchscreen only.
You only
phones.
have 3 lives. I've already passed this level, but it's hard to play this
way. It can be kind of hard to play sideways.
But there seems to be a ton of levels. There's a tutorial. You have all your buttons here on how to play. I'm playing a lower level right now just because it's easier. Well, somewhat easier. But here we go. He's climbing. He's jumping. I think the graphics are actually pretty cool, and it's very responsive. I'm having a lot of fun. The music's really good.
It's pretty much a side scroller all the way through, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then you're supposed to. I'm trying to get through the end. They're not that long levels.
Give folks a spoiler. Maybe I should sound a spoiler alert.
Okay. I don't know how long this. Yeah. Look at me. Look at.
Yeah, you're on fire.
I was practicing before the show.
Wigging my eyes out just watching it. Oh, man, you were so close. I'm pretty sure after that you would have won.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would have won too. Anyways,
totally we're going to win.
You get 3 lives. There's various levels. I've barely unlocked them, but I'm having a ton of fun playing. And you could actually see a cool little story about why he's fleeing. He's fleeing from some alien who wants like total domination. You get all that. So
there's like a story mode, or?
No, there's not a story mode. That's just the story of the game.
Cool.
But I don't know. I'm really enjoying it, and it's challenging and fun, and it's like I said, like $1 and change.
Nice.
Take that.
Yeah, $1.11.
Escape.
Nice.
You guys are going to vote for that one. I know it.
Stellar Escape. That's 4.5 stars. 4.5 stars in the Android market. That's how people in the Android market can be. They're rough.
Yeah, they're brutal.
They're brutal. I believe I am next, and I'm not going to show you what I have. I'm just going to I will show you. I will show you eventually. Where is it?
What are you going to show us?
I'm just Jason wants us to imagine the game.
Already, my app wins.
I'm just going to let you hear it here.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Well, I didn't turn my...
Is that what I think it is?
It might just be. Here, you won't be able to hear it as well. But yes, it is a port of Duck Hunt.
Wow.
From the NES. I'm going to have to try and play this sideways too. It's not an emulator. It's an actual port of Duck Hunt. I do wonder, though, what the legalities of this are. Is it created? I didn't do any research into the aspect of if this is created by the actual writer of the game, or should be in there, but it's in the
so
marketplace, so I have to imagine it's probably okay. But Duck Hunt, I mean, there it is, in all of its sounds and glory, and I'm really bad at it, but it's just kind of fun. It's actually, in a strange way, it's a perfect touchscreen game, because normally you would need a gun, and in this way, you're just kind of using your finger to shoot at the ducks, and it's harder than you would think it is. But it's just nice to kind of go back in time and remember Duck Hunt and to play it and see that little dog snicker. Yes. So I'm
literally installing it on my phone right now, Jason. You've motivated me.
Actually, while we were at I.O. and we were in the market section or talk, they had some screenshots up and they were playing around with the market, and I saw it up there. It was like number 2 on top new or something. I was like, whoa, no way. I wonder if that's like it. No, in fact, it is it. It's not just like it. It is it. So go get it. Vote for Duck Hunt. You want to. Those sounds just kind of take you back, don't they?
And it's free. I mean, that's great too.
Yeah, it's free. Absolutely.
So, yeah, because that's kind of what I look for when I'm looking for the apps. Because I'm not a big gamer, and I hate spending money on games because you never know if you're gonna like it or not.
Yeah.
So it's weak. I know it's weak, but yeah. So Duck Hunt is great. You should get that if it's free. So.
All right, what you got?
My game, I went for something I could do on the Zoom, which is a game I've been obsessed with. I think I mentioned either before we were doing the show a couple weeks ago or maybe during the show, but it's called Glow Hockey, and you can see it there. Basically, it's air hockey, and it's free in the Android marketplace. And the reason why I like it is because it's very bright. It's very easy to use. You just put your finger over one of those little donuts, little controllers, and you just hit a puck back and forth, and the goal is to score a goal, like air hockey. Mm-hmm. The reason why I like it is because I don't have a lot of time to play games, and so I'm often for work. I'm on a lot of conference calls, and so I used to actually go on a browser, or Orbitz had all those games they used to do in banners, like hit the baseball and stuff like that. So I used to play those during conference calls, but those are old and I've gotten tired of them. Now this is great because I sit here on the phone and I'm on my call and I just play air hockey while I'm talking to people. And it's the kind of non-intrusive game that you can do while concentrating on doing something else and talking to someone, but also have a good time and get competitive. And I've gone up the levels. It's got easy, medium, hard, and insane. And right now I'm up on hard. I haven't gone up to insane yet, but it's competitive. The AI is really good. It's really responsive.
There we go.
There you go.
Trying to pull it up here.
Yeah.
Here. See if
it's cool, and you could change the color of the puck. You could change your color of your controller.
This really reminds me of the Nintendo Wii air hockey in sports. Is it? It sounds the same.
I think it's very similar to that. I don't think it's the same thing. It's developed by a company called what are they called? Natnai Aritarakul. So
okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like this actually.
Yeah, and you play to 7 points wins, and you get really into it. It's hard to put down. So.
Yeah, and the mechanics of it work as well, especially on a tablet. But this is also available on a phone as well.
Yeah, it does work on the phone as well. Yeah, true, which is good when I'm on the bus or something like that. And basically, it taps into that inner Pong need. Video games started.
We all have a Pong need.
Exactly. So, simple, get the job done. It works really well. It never crashes. It's very fast. It's never sluggish or anything like that. It just works.
Right on.
That's all. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you can vote for your favorite game.
You can vote for Stellar Escape.
Oh.
Right now. I'm trying to play the music that I didn't play earlier. And then you guys were all playing your music. And
that's right. Our
games
have music.
No, mine does too. But I was, showing off how much more superior it was in terms of, new games.
It does have superior music, Eileen.
Well,
you're right.
I just meant the game-wise. Actually, your song was so much better.
Woo! So really vote. However you choose to vote, you can do it. You can go to poll.cm/1286, poll.cm/1286. Oh, man.
Sorry. Okay, sorry.
And vote for Stellar Escape. Thank you.
That's right. All right, let's move on to our second ad here. This episode is brought to you by Netflix.
Hey.
We talked about them a little earlier. Netflix delivers movies directly to your home, and that saves you time, money, and hassle. That's 3 great things that it saves you. You can instantly watch thousands of TV episodes and movies streamed directly to your PC, your Mac, your Xbox 360, PS3, Nintendo Wii, Roku, tons of devices that support and play Netflix instant streaming. Plus, you can get DVDs by mail in about a business day. You can watch as many movies as you want, anytime you want. There are never any late fees or due dates. So what's a movie that we should talk about? Actually, you were showing.
I was showing Kick-Ass.
You were showing Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
Well, that
Kick-Ass is great. Yeah, it's a good book.
I'm gonna try and load that up again. I was still playing my game. Sorry, guys.
Kick-Ass is it's the movie adaptation of a comic book that you can actually read on Graphically, which is the company I work for, which was highlighted at Google I/O, right? You guys
Yes,
saw
it
that?
was.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
you guys
right.
saw it up on the big screen.
We did not mention that during the Chrome announcement. Your Graphically app was featured on stage. It was really impressive.
There she is.
But here we have Kick-Ass. Well, there we go. And it's widescreen glory.
I mean,
I didn't know this is on Netflix. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, add to queue." Even though I have it on Blu-ray, but whatever. So.
Yeah, we've been teasing. We've been kind of talking about when they have the Android app, you're going to want Netflix. Well, here it is.
Well, here it is. We should add that to the Netflix copy. So you can watch this movie, or you can choose from thousands of TV episodes and other movies when you register for a free trial membership. Go to netflix.com/twit. Be sure to sign up for your free trial there. That's netflix.com/twit. And we thank Netflix for their support of Twit and All About Android. So awesome. Well, we don't have any voicemails this week. We knew that we were going to run a little bit long, so we're going to leave it to just a few emails. And Eileen, why don't you take the first one?
Oh, okay. Hey, guys, this is from Rob. First, let me say I'm loving the show. Very fun and entertaining. Thank you very much, Rob. I've been an iPhone user for a while now, and I'm looking to make the jump to Android. Here's my dilemma. I've got the opportunity to get a Nexus S 4G from Sprint at a really low monthly rate at about $65 a month for 750 anytime minutes and unlimited text and data thanks to a corporate discount. Hello. I don't know if I should pull the trigger on a Nexus S with this really low monthly rate or wait until some more dual-core Android phones come out. We heard a little bit of that discussion about dual-core up earlier in the show. The problem is that if I get a newer phone, I'll be paying a lot more per month, but I'll have a cooler phone. Really? Is it really cooler? What am I leaving on the table if I jump in and get the Nexus S now? Should I just take advantage of my corporate discount now? Any advice you can provide would be much appreciated.
I don't know.
That corporate discount is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about it. I feel, hey, you only live once. You only live once. The world can end tomorrow. Use that corporate discount, get the phone, and then use it and enjoy it. And when you're ready to upgrade to a new phone, hopefully you have another corporate discount or get another phone. You spend your whole life looking what's on the horizon, you'll never live. Get out and live. That's what I'm telling you, Rob. Go do it.
And Rob, you get NFC with that Nexus S 4G. The NFC that everybody doesn't know what they're going to do with. You got it.
I like the subtle silence of Jason just nodding.
He's like, yeah, I don't really want it. I don't know.
Because I totally, the rationale, the logic totally works for me. And in my head, I'm like, yes, that makes total sense. But I don't want a single core device. It just doesn't make, there's something wrong in my brain.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Blame my brain. But I'd say, go get it. And I'll wait. I'll let you know how waiting is.
You only live once. That's what I say. There's always going to be something better. There's always going to be dual-core phones are going to come out, and then they're going to have quad-core phones, Jason. It's like it's never going to end. This is this vicious cycle, this treadmill that we're on now with technology.
It's true.
He's holding out for the mythical, I'm going to call it the mythical bionic.
The unicorn phone.
The unicorn bionic. I'm like, I don't even know. They're going to change it. What, they're going to change the name?
Maybe I'm not going to get a bionic. I don't know.
Dude, I'm telling you, get the Casio, that Casio rugged one, whatever it's called. I think that's the phone for you.
And you can create polyphonic music on the Casio phone, too.
It's supposed to be really rugged and tough,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Just saying. I showed off the Samsung Galaxy S2 to you.
Yeah.
Did you like it or no?
Yeah, it was nice.
Did you? And that's dual core. And that's coming out later.
Yeah.
Supposedly
is that on Verizon?
We don't know yet. They couldn't tell me the carrier, but they said, this is what the Samsung rep said. Well, we're usually on all carriers. I said,
oh.
Well,
you mean as a manufacturer, you have phones that happen to be on all carriers, but this one won't necessarily.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, all right. That's a
Here's
good
a reason for the Casio phone if there ever was one. I just quickly Googled Casio Android phone. And the first article was from Healthcare IT News. It says, new Verizon Casio Android smartphone ruggedized for hospital use. So all of your candy striping needs, you can use this phone. So there you go.
Hey, you're right. I didn't know. There it is. Rugged Android phone.
Yep. It's great for hospital use.
All right. All right. You take the next one, Ron.
All right, our next email comes from the Great Gazoo, which is interesting. And he says that he wanted to share some information concerning the downloading of apps to multiple devices at the same account from the Amazon App Store. We talked about this on a show a couple of weeks ago. We weren't quite sure as exactly what the legality of whether it should be supported or whether it was a bug. We got so many emails about this. But as the Great Gazoo tells us, the terms of service in the app does allow for multiple installs as described in point 2.5. It also states that they will limit the number of installs that the developer asks them to. So it's interesting information there. It also states that if an app doesn't specify a terms of use, Amazon's generic terms of use apply, which allow for multiple downloads. So there's an answer to that whole question about the multiple downloads on the same account to multiple devices.
I mean, yeah, and that actually makes sense when you think about the fact that Amazon Prime, I know many people who are Amazon Prime members, and they share that with their spouse or
I love Amazon Prime is amazing. It's amazing.
I think it would be kind of ridiculous for Amazon to jump in there and say, no, you can't do that. But this is just interesting in the sense that it doesn't have to be your spouse. It could really be anyone. Yeah. But you'd have to be okay with sharing your Amazon login in order to do that. So maybe they're.
But I think it's also interesting that it allows the developers to define the number of installs. And if they don't, then it defaults to Amazon's thing. So I'll be curious to see if we see developers actually using that and saying, no, they can only install this twice. Yeah. I don't know why they do that, but yeah. So.
Yeah, right. All right, and finally, during the same episode 6, I believe, with all of the feedback, I put out a little challenge, and some of you went ahead and took me up on it, about the Task Killer. I said, hey, uninstall the Task Killer on your Android phone for 7 days, see if it makes a difference. And we actually got a decent amount of feedback from people. A few here, one from Danny, just basically saying he still uses it to kill some games, but he didn't have to charge his phone every 3 hours when he...
Sorry, Duck just installed.
He's like, I'm done.
What are you doing there,
I'm done with the show now.
I'm so done with the show.
I got really excited about Duck Hunt. I'm sorry.
That's hilarious. Anyways. Nice. Well, you have fun with that. Just mute it. Danny basically said he saw a market difference. And also Obsidian Offing said that he took us up on the challenge with his MyTouch 4G. And it's been a little over a week. He says he's noticed that his phone seems snappier and he doesn't have as many forced closes, which they say happens actually a lot when you have a task manager because it's killing things that it shouldn't be killing. So a couple of people say it worked for them. So maybe more of you will try it out. And if you do, let us know what you think.
I took the challenge, Jason. I got rid of. Yeah, I did, and I haven't noticed a huge difference or not. I have noticed though that now that you mention it, I haven't gotten as many forced closes as I used to get. Okay. But interestingly enough, I was actually over at Revision 3 and I was shooting an episode of App Judgment, doing an Android review, and I needed to stop an app from running because I wanted to restart it to get the load screen, and I went instinctively to go do it in the widget, and I couldn't do it. I was like, so I had to go into the settings and stop it. So that was a use case that I used to use all the time. Now I don't, but it's fine. It's easy,
I suppose it's not you never have a reason to use a task manager, but I think, I think a lot of people see it as, kill anything that I'm not looking at this very moment, and that could have far-reaching consequences.
They're giving the standard kind of Windows OS. I only want to run the applications I need, because my memory is so crucial, that sort of thing. It's so ingrained in our heads after years of bad memory management. But it's interesting because like someone like me, who if I want to force stop an app, I can just set up a shortcut that will take me right to that screen in the settings. So it's not that hard, a huge pain if you want to do that. It's still in the phone. So.
True. Yeah. And then very, very quickly, finally, we have this picture mail, essentially. And I totally forgot to write down the name. I'll have to look that up and put it in the show notes. If this doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. Actually.
It's Charles.
Oh no,
this is from Charles.
It's a laser-eyed cat on top of an episode of All About Android. What are we gonna do?
And it's staring at you, Jason. At you.
Oh man. I'm a little scared now. And I'm Jason.
And it's Friday the 13th.
I know, there's too many things going on here.
Thank you, Charles, for that. That was awesome.
All right. I think, we made it, and I think we made it in okay time, considering.
Yeah, we did. There was just a ton to talk about with Google I.O.
Absolutely. And I think people would want to hear all about it. So, Ron, let people know where people can find you, let them know where they can find you.
Find me on Twitter, twitter.com/RonXO. You can find me on ifanboy.com, which is a website all about comic books, or graphically.com, which has an Android app that was featured at Google I.O. Pretty cool stuff. And those are, I think, the main places you can find me. So,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm around.
Fantastic. He's a man about the town. And Eileen.
Or you could just go ahead and find me on Twitter at Eileen TV.
All right. And I am Raygun01 on Twitter. You can find me there. You can find the show, well, all over. We've got many different ways you can find us. Send us an email at aaa@twit.tv. Send us a voicemail, 347-SHOW-AAA. Please do. We'd love to include a voicemail in the next episode. Follow us on Twitter at Android Show. You can find the show on the TWiT site with all the show notes and stuff, twit.tv/AAA. And you can catch us live every Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific, live at live.twit.tv. And that's it. All right. We're done. See you guys later. Yeah.
I have a new friend.